What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of Survivor Reignited. That's right. You've got me, Justin, a.k.a. DadHat, the super fan seen every season, every episode, joined by my side by Survivor newbie, watching for the very first time, MJ Duplessis. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, bro?
I'm here. You know, we got through season 1. Thankfully, that's in the past. Even though it's a good season, but there's just so much good stuff to come. I had to get us past season 1, and it's fitting because I ate Outback last night that we're starting season 2, Survivor, the Australian Outback, one of my absolute favorite seasons. Like, I think I've said this before. I think that if Survivor 2 wasn't as good as it was, I don't know if I would have kept watching it. And then Survivor 3 gets even better, and so on and so forth. So I'm excited to talk about Survivor, the Australian Outback, which is fun now because now there's Survivor Australia, which I haven't seen any of. I want to. I've got to find a way to watch it.
Ironically, because of you, my FYP on TikTok is because Survivor.
Hey, you're the one tagging me in all this stuff now, man.
I now have got clips from a Survivor Australia.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
there's some players from the US playing on the newest season.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, because it's not
I
Jeff
didn't
hosting.
realize that it was a worldwide show, like Big Brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much so. Well, I'm excited about talking about this season. I think this season has a lot to take from. Before we get started, though, big shout out, big week for Survivor. The cast of Survivor 50 got announced. I'm personally excited. There's a lot of hate going on online right now from fans, fellow podcasters and creators, former contestants, which they have the it's the world of wrestling on another medium.
Yeah.
In our other part of life where we're talking about professional wrestling, I'm a very straight shooter and I'm like, look, y'all, it's a business. At the same time, I have to say the same thing here. Survivor is a business. Like, it is about what's going to make them the most money. And I don't like necessarily saying that, but it is. So congratulations to those hitting 50. Sorry if some of your favorites didn't make the cut. My absolute favorite didn't make the cut, but it's because he doesn't want to play anymore in Boston Rob. But
I was about to say, I was going to ask him if Boston Rob, because I've seen his, when getting asked about not being on Survivor.
He's done everything. He's done everything. So, other than hosting, it would be interesting to see him and Jeff host together. That would be funny. But really, there's nothing left for Rob to do. So, there's no reason he needs to come back. Now, are there players that I wish would have gotten called back and would have preferred to see? Yeah. Are there some that I'm like, why are they on the season? Yeah, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There's 750 players at this point. So anyway, we're not here to talk about current day. We're talking about Survivor, Australian Outback. We're going to start with the first 4 episodes. First off, out of the gate, what do you think of season 2 versus season 1 so far? Can you see a difference in gameplay? Can you see?
Yeah. Right off the bat. But what I loved about this fucking first episode is motherfuckers are already puking. Like they're on the airplane, motion sickness and throwing up in bags. And it's like, oh, okay.
Very different, right? Instead of jumping off of a boat into the ocean, they're having to be airdropped in by the Australian military, into the Outback. Very, very, very different, right? Yeah. So you've got two tribes this season. Eventually, I forget what season it is. Eventually, it goes into 3. But we got 2. We got Kucha, who is always wearing blue. That's Kimmy, Michael, Alicia, Roger, Elizabeth, Nick, Debb, and my personal favorite, one of my favorites of all time, Jeff. And it's only because he's from North Carolina. And it was cool to see somebody not far from me, and then actually somewhere that I lived, in Jeff Varner. And then you got Ogakor, always wearing green. You got Marilyn, a.k.a. Mad Dog, Colby, Amber, Mitchell, Tina, Keith, Jerri, and Kel. What were your first reactions to these 2 tribes as they were they're jumping off the plane, they're talking about who they are, what they did, who stuck out to you, what surprised you?
Off the bat, Alicia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's a monster, and she looks like she's gonna fight someone. And I was like, okay, she's gonna be a problem.
She's a personal trainer. I love Alicia. I don't think Alicia gets enough love like from the Survivor world. Like she does great. But she sticks out for sure. I love it. I don't know. We don't necessarily have like, in the first season, there was Sonia who got voted out first. She was like the very, very, very elderly woman, like in BB and Rudy. We don't see that a lot.
No.
Really, like Mad Dog, aka Marilyn, is the oldest, but she's on that younger side of being older.
Yeah. And she like the energy, and she's not an old person.
Yeah. Definitely tends to lean on the younger side on this cast. With episode 1, like I said, we got an airdrop off from the military. They get 1 crate of supplies. They're not scavenging. They've got here's what you got. Make it or break it. And I mean, you see them even carrying like the pieces of the box because they know they can, don't waste anything.
Yeah.
Don't waste anything. It's a 5-mile hike from where they're dropped off to the camp. So they're making them work from the get-go. Like, this isn't like, okay, drop off. There's your camp. There's your camp. Like,
Nick is already kind of fucking over.
Yep. Throwing up everywhere. Like, they don't. People's like, who? I don't know your name. You in the hat. Like, come here. Like, it's chaos. But you also see how excited they are because they've seen the first season. So like but you see gameplay from the very beginning too. Like you see that. I love the camera work here because you get these aerial shots and you just see the vastness of the Australian Outback.
Australia is beautiful.
Yeah. My number 1 place if I was going to do a big trip is Australia. And you see with that, like the terrain, how hard, like their 5-mile hike. It's not like, okay, little soft plain, rocky areas up and down, having lowering stuff.
Water.
It's a hike. You see like the environment being dangerous from the get-go. And you're going to see this continue. What do you think about the frustration that you're already seeing between Jerri, who is a legend in this show?
I've heard the name.
Jerri Manthe. I mean, she's referred to as the original Black Widow of Survivor, and Chef Keith. There's already frustration, and they've been there for no time.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I was like, these two are gonna fight. These two are gonna fight constantly.
Yeah.
That intrigued me. Michael's Michael's putting a bad name to people named Michael. That dude is an asshole.
Let's not say that yet.
All right. This first episode, I was like, oh, this guy's kind of
he takes on that leadership bossy role for sure. The big importance here is, you got to boil water, and water is necessity. Water, they talk about water is life. I mean, fire is life in this game, but water might be your soul. And they've got to boil it, and it's coming from a muddy stream, muddy river. So, they've got to have fire for that. And the first challenge, just like, Quest for Fire in the very first season, it's for fire. But in this case, it's for waterproof matches. But it's also for immunity. If your torch goes in the water, then you're automatically out and you lose. So, I mean, it's kind of a one-handed side. Like Ogakor kind of destroys Kucha
quick.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
And after that first immunity challenge, like you really see paranoia kick in Kucha. Like you see big paranoia. But one big difference is after tribal, at tribal council, I should say, Jeff tells them like, look, you're voting somebody out, but at least when you go, you're taking fire with you. So they're at least giving them fire to be able to give them water. I mean, he says in Australia at this time, it's the rainy season, but who knows when that's going to kick in? We shall see that. We shall experience the rainy season through this season. I noticed this. Did you notice that the host Jeff Probst a little more confident this season? A little bit more.
Yes,
A little more.
absolutely. He knew what he was doing finally.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a backbone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Little more. Little more. I don't know. Being himself, maybe.
Yeah.
Best way I can put it. Or we get to tribal for episode 1. Did you see it being Debb? Could you read the room? No?
Well, at first, not at first, and then I was like, okay, that it makes sense. But I was like, dang.
Who'd you think? Who'd you think was going?
I had no idea that it's always hard the first episode for me.
Yeah.
It was like because they don't really give you much.
They don't.
It was like, okay, so this could be anyone. So I was like, I wonder what Deb did behind the scenes, not shown on camera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they mentioned she was kind of isolating herself. She would focus only on one thing. Well, yes, fire was an important thing.
True.
But I mean, and she constantly being like, well, the book said do it this way. The book, like, I mean, I could see him a little bit annoyed. But did you see how mad she was getting? Like, she got 1 vote. She didn't do anything. She got a 2nd vote. She's like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, man.
She saw the writing on the wall. She's like, well, fuck you guys.
I'm just like, man, how much would you have exploded if you had stayed? Like, again, a great what if. What do you think of Tribal Council up on that giant mountain with the waterfall?
Beautiful.
Right?
That site is gorgeous.
It's such a different. They tried to make such a different feel than Borneo, and it works. I mean, it's from the layout, again, different area, different players. I wonder if they had to scale younger in age just because of the terrain and just because of
I was wondering that too, because it was like, you don't want an old person to like, accidentally have a heart attack or something during this situation. So,
well, the hits keep rolling here, and like the game's afoot, like you said, very early on compared to the first season. In episode 2, aka Suspicion, the biggest talking point is gonna be Kel and beef jerky.
Yeah, it was between that and Michael cooking that food without discussing it with anyone.
Yeah, like both sides. Both sides really just are not the best social game. Like that becomes a big topic later on in seasons, like people's social game. My thing was always this, because season 2 is one that, like, again, back in the day when you could still buy physical media, like I owned 3 different seasons of Survivor on DVD, and this was one of them that I owned. My thing was always when I would watch it is, yes, at this time they're still being, which they didn't really talk about other than Colby, but they got to bring their luxury item.
Yeah.
They can't bring food. So where the hell's the beef jerky? Because they don't mention beef jerky is in the camp supplies or anything. So I'm like, they're searched before they go anywhere.
That's what I was wondering. I was gonna ask you if they have staff searching the people, because I swore there was like no food was being brought. How was he able to get it through?
Yeah,
unless he's shoving it somewhere.
Yeah, like it's such a and it's such like the way they film it and it's edited. It's so very sketchy anyway that I'm just like, I don't want to say I believe Kel and I don't believe Jerri, but I think it was just, again, Jerri very early on, just trying to sow some doubt, trying to be the Black Widow that she is. What stuck out for you in episode 2?
Kells gets a lot of heat for a lot of different things, whether it's the beef jerking. They're giving him shit about trying to fish all the time, but it's
like not catching anything.
Yeah, but it's like at least he's trying here.
Yeah. Same argument, different season. Remember they gave Dr. Sean same thing and Dirks, like, you're fishing, you're not catching anything, and they're same argument.
So it's like I feel like Kells is like a scapegoat for a bunch of bullshit in these first 2 episodes.
And something that they do very early on, which becomes a big thing later in seasons, is they search through Kel's bag.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
they're looking for beef jerky, right? Later
Yeah.
it becomes they're searching for other things, but now it's searching to see if he's got like a stash of food somewhere. And you get Mad Dog, who is so like being the voice of reason here of like, this is not right. Like,
Yeah. I like Mad Dog.
I
I
do
like
too.
Mad Dog a lot.
Yeah, Mad Dog. I don't know what age she is now, or if she's even still with us. I didn't know. I didn't see her on that video. But bring her back. Bring back Mad Dog. Hashtag bring back Mad Dog. So we got a reward challenge, and it's a big leap. They got to jump off a cliff and swim to a floating crate and bring it back to shore through rapids. This isn't no like still water here. You got rapids going down this river.
For blankets.
For blankets, yes. I mean, you don't think about Australia being cold, but when I think about Australia, I really think out west in the desert, hot during the day, cold.
It's super cold at night.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I got to know a high school Australian basketball team, and they talk about how miserable their winters are.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like, we get complete opposite weathers. Like our winters are super cold, and our summers are we're melting.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Well, they won blankets. Ogakor on a little bit of a winning streak, second challenge in a row. And then we got the immunity challenge here. Immunity challenge. It's an eating challenge again. You know, it's local delicacies is probably the best way I can put it. It's different though, because on the wheel, there's things like candy bars and like apple pieces, and it's the luck of a spin. It's the luck of the spin. Everything from grubs to big slimy ass worms to cow brains.
Yeah, my thing when it was like Kimmy straight up from beginning of the contest was like, I'm vegetarian. I will not eat anything.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
like, I will go home. I don't care.
Which is funny because I mean, this gets brought up here, and they do eating challenges. I think for a couple more seasons, but it's never really been an issue again. Like, it's never really. So I'm like, because of this, was this an issue of like, look, we got to have somebody who can at least try to compete. Like, it makes me wonder how the casting was moving forward after this. So of course you mentioned Kimmy. One of my funniest moments with Kimmy is when Jeff, I think episode 1 or episode 2 is talking about how annoyed he is with her, and he's just like, she talks and talks and talks and talks and tries to does the accent, and like that's Kimmy. I mean, she's in a tent, she's talking about having a threesome and orgies, and that's Kimmy. Like, even Debb says like nothing's taboo with her. So
no, it was that first episode, that first night, and it was like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice to meet you. I'm talking, yeah. But again, they're on the younger side. So with this, but on the other side of the coin, Tina was the one having a hard time keeping something down. So we get down to Kimmy can't eat a worm, or Kimmy can't eat cow brains, and Tina, I forget what she had. She couldn't keep it down. She ate it, but then threw it back.
It was that long thing.
Well, that's what the tiebreaker is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The tiebreaker becomes that long, like worm. And it's long. I mean, it's slimy.
The larva. That's what it was.
And I mean, and you see Kimmy hyping herself up. I can eat a worm. I can eat a worm, and she does. And so much of the fact the color of it turns her tongue blue.
Yeah, that was gross. That was
whatever that is, dyes her tongue blue. Mangrove worm. That's what it was. Mangrove worm. So we get to tribal council. No real surprise here. Kel is voted out.
Yeah.
All for the question of did he or did he not have beef jerky? So we're going to decide right here, folks. Did Kel have beef jerky or not? Mike, what say you?
I don't think he did. Yeah. I think motherfuckers were just lying on his name.
Yeah, I agree. There was no beef jerky there. I don't know what he's chewing. He could be telling the truth and smushing up grass, but there's not enough evidence. The state, aka the show, did not present enough evidence to show that he was guilty.
We didn't talk about the chef ruining the rice.
Right, Keith. Oh, Keith. Keith, who has never appeared on the show again. Oh, Keith.
And then
I don't know how I feel about him. He's so, I don't know.
And then Jerri beat according to you, the woman
Black
she
Widow.
she makes the tortillas, to shove it in his face. Like, yeah, look at what I can do.
I don't know. I would almost, again, being a big foodie, I am a fat ass. I like to eat.
Same.
I don't know. I would think like with what they have, right, and how rice is, those tortillas, even though they may not have a lot of flavor, at least there's some bite to it. There's some crunch. There's something other than
impressive. She was able to do that with the little they had.
Water, the flour, and a pan. Yeah. It makes me wonder, like, because why else are you putting that flour in there? Like, it's like, somebody finally figured it out. Like, all right. So we're down to 2. We have lost Kel. We lost Debb in episode 1. We're on to episode 3. Trust no one. Your buddy Michael. He is determined that he is going to ambush and kill a pig.
This episode was wild.
Right? I'll let you lead it since it's wild.
Yeah, he was so like eager to find a pig and kill it, and he did, which was impressive. He cornered
brutally,
that
and they almost show it on TV.
Yeah, that was the most bloodiest thing I've ever seen on reality TV before.
Yeah, you see the plunge of the knife, but you don't see the actual like contact.
Yeah.
You see how crazy. I mean, he gives off a little crazy vibes when he's tying that knife to that pole. He's just like,
yeah, he's not okay in the head. He's not.
The land has gotten to him. Well, he talks about how like this is nothing for him because his family hikes and camps and
yeah.
They knows how to live on land. That's great and everything, but like you're getting like you're only a few days in and you're you were there any longer, you're gonna start talking to people.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna start talking to voices in your head.
Absolutely. That spear situation was like, oh, okay, you might need help.
The camera angle doesn't help too because they get right up on it, so it's like an aerial shot, close up, so it's like distorted. Like it's so bad. What else? What else goes on in episode 3?
The fishing, the reward challenge for the fishing package.
Yep. Big thing. I mean, they're on. They've each got like a little river, a little creek going right by their camp. So I mean, fish is a big thing. Plus, you've got Keith, who is like, "Oh, I gotta get some fish. Like, I gotta show what I can do." Like, they're already booing on my rice. I gotta show what I can do once I actually get something. So he's all about getting fish. It's like very same strategic thing that Richard did. Richard was like, I got to be that provider in season 1. And I think Keith saw the same thing. Like, look, I'm a trained chef. You're at least going to be eating and not eating bland food. You're going to be, it's going to be prepared well. You're not just going to be crudely eating it.
The funny thing is it doesn't work for Keith because they all say, okay, you think this is going to help your situation. But you're just showing us how to do this.
Colby's right. Colby says that. Colby is dead right because like when he's doing it, they're just looking over. But you showed me how to do it. Like, very impressive reward challenge. It's pick your 2 strongest people. They're standing on a pole. They've got a long pole holding it like a weight. And the other tribe is putting water
buckets.
Yeah, to see who can withstand it. Well, it gets to the point where they've finished all their buckets, and Michael's pole snaps.
Yeah. So they have to go for a 5-minute runoff
to see who gets the most.
He didn't fall. So, like, yeah, you have to do the tiebreaker.
Yeah. But he just, if I had been on that other team, man, I would have argued and been like, it broke, but he fell in. Like, Colby was still standing strong. And then Ogakor again on a winning streak. Ogakor dominant wins the fishing kit. So that's 3 now that Kucha is just like not. They just can't come together. They can't win. We get to the immunity challenge for that episode. They're all tethered together. They're racing across. They go down a log chute, down a sand saddle, across a river. There are lots of different obstacles and things they've got to cross. Kucha, they take a lead in the third leg, and then they fell twice during the sprint.
Sadly, because of Mad
Dog. And Ogakor, they drop the challenge, right? They lose it. It's sad because I mean, she talks about, she's like, I'm a liability.
Yeah.
Like my age, I can bring the energy. I mean, you saw the energy in the food competition, like where she's just like, when Jerri ate, she's just like, Jerri, like she's the biggest cheerleader they got. Like she's all about, like, I think she just enjoys hanging around the younger kids.
Yeah,
like
there's always one of those old people that way.
She'd be like the fun aunt. She's the she's the fun aunt is the best way to describe Marilyn. In tribal council, you know, they're still trying to figure out who's with who, what their voting blocks, their alliances, as you want to say. But like Jerri and Mitchell, they each get a vote, but sadly, by Mad Dog. It's sad because I wanted her around longer. I still do.
Yeah, same.
Episode 4. Marilyn's gone now. Then you've got Tina and Keith, who are again some of the older ones on the tribe, and they're concerned about their position. I'm looking at my notes.
Episode 4, Jerri really shows her like her social game.
Yeah. I mean, she's getting buddy with Colby. Like that's the biggest thing. Really buddy with Colby. I mean, that's the highlight of it. You know, the reward challenge is, it's one of those. It's the start of a big trend in Survivor where someone is blindfolded and there is a caller and they have to lead or you got a caller who's not blindfolded and you got other players who are blindfolded and they have to lead them through. Like there's several incarnations of this in Survivor history. But for the reward challenge, they get 3 egg-laying chickens again. But again, we talked about it last season. They're going to be in a confined space. They are not going to be able to lay eggs.
Yeah.
Kimmy led Kucha to win the reward challenge and receive the 3 chickens and a rooster.
Way to upset the vegetarian yet again.
Again, it's a point of contention. But you see, Michael was like, "Let's eat these chickens right now." Because I mean, that means that he's not going to have to be, he's not going to be as important. So, he wants to still catch that pig. But Nick told him that they needed to like make a decision as a group, and which I mean, it's true. He's not. You're living with people who could vote you off, and you lose $1 million. The immunity challenge was a trivia challenge. Like, how could they answer questions like based on the area and sort of like Australian knowledge? Like, again, atop of a giant cliff, which is beautiful. First tribe to answer 6 question ones. Ogakor took a lead. Alicia couldn't answer a single question. Alicia's the one that kept.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Alicia. but she does end up winning it for her team in the very end. She looks like a liability and then pulls it out in the end. Which, I mean, sometimes that can benefit you because you're like, look, I came through in clutch time.
Yeah.
We start to see Colby. Colby is trying
smartening up to Jerry's bullshit.
Yeah. Colby, he's gotten through his couple of days of look, a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
Look, gorgeous woman, $1 million. $1 million. But he, he's trying to figure out what move he's going to make. And we're, again, gameplay. So we're on episode 3 and gameplay is happening.
They're already talking about the merge on this episode? And I was like, hold up. We're a few episodes
episode
to go.
4, yeah, I mean.
What's going on?
Yeah, like they are fully looking at this as a long game. And at Tribal Council, it's really weird. And it's the first time we get a tie. And it's a 3-3 tie. And when they're talking about because it's Mitchell and Keith that tie up, they talk about why they should keep each other. And Mitchell does a horrible job of he's like, look, Keith is going to do better than me. Like, he's like throwing in the towel. It's like he starts to throw in the towel and then he realizes what he's saying. And like, no, but like he's just, it's not a good pitch from Mitchell. But the tie comes because Colby switched his vote and went with Tina and Keith. So early on, you see cool voting block. Then we get, of course, they do a second vote. And the two that are voted for can't vote. So we end up with a 2-2 tie. Again, then we get into what this is something you'll notice as ties happen throughout Survivor, like they're adapting and changing the rules a little bit. But this is the first time we get a deadlock. So with a deadlock, what it means, at least at this point in Survivor history, is it goes for whoever has the most past votes cast towards them. Well, Keith hadn't had any. Mitchell has. So Mitchell is your person voted out. Had it come down to, had they had neither of them, I'm gonna go ahead and explain this to you because it's exciting when it comes up, and I don't want you to be like watching it going, I'm so confused. If you have a deadlock and neither of them have previous votes on them, they do a thing that's called drawing rocks.
I've seen the drawing rock clips and like
it doesn't happen often. But with the drawing rocks, what it is the two people then that were tied are completely safe.
And everyone else has to draw rocks?
Everyone else have to draw rocks.
That's fucked.
And the person who draws the purple rock is out.
That's crazy.
Right? So the people you're going to, and if it comes to a point where it's like in the individual game, then the people who are safe are the person that has immunity and the two people that were deadlocked. And then everybody. So I wanted to explain that to you before we get that. It doesn't happen this season, but I wanted to, when you get to that point, be like, oh, okay. Like in case Jeff is being long-winded and doesn't explain it very well. Well, Mitchell goes bye-bye. Jerry's partner is gone. Amber's partner is gone. We see a shift in loyalty from Colby here. So it's a busy, fast-paced first 4 episodes, right? Compared to the first season.
Oh, absolutely. And I like that. This is fun.
Why do you think this is one of my favorite seasons? Like you get into it like from the get-go. So for you, who stands out? Who are a couple of your front runners, and who is your biggest front runner?
To me, it's still Alicia and Jerri.
You think they're okay? Alicia and Jerri. Why?
I think Alicia, except for the trivia thing, I think a physical aspect with her. I think there's something like, at least in other shows I've watched, the physical people usually do really good in shows like this. And Jerri's got that social game.
But now she's on the wrong side of the vote here.
Yeah.
So let's see what we do there. But yeah, 4 episodes in. I've actually already finished all of season.
Of course you have.
It's one of my favorites, man. Like I couldn't stop watching it. But I'm not gonna make you rush. We'll just do. We'll go. What I'm probably gonna end up doing myself is like there's a few people that got announced from Survivor 50 that I'm like I just don't remember their season, and they're later, way later seasons.
Again, like I've said, I've watched clips, so I knew some of the names and some of the faces. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm intrigued for 50. I might actually watch 50 live.
50 live, yeah. That could be a little part of our episode if we could just treat that season as like we'll record weekly, maybe the morning after, like we'll do it on
season just ended.
48. So 49 hasn't even happened yet.
Hold up, they went straight up the announcing a cast for 50 and 49 hasn't even happened yet.
Well, 49's happened. But it hasn't been aired yet. It aired in so the way that they do it now, they do 2 seasons a year. They do one in the spring and they do one in the fall. So that will come out in the fall of 49. And 2 players from 49, we don't know which 2, will be on 50.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So technically you could watch 49 and then know the 2 people from 49 into 50. Yeah. But we could do that. We could make that kind of like a part of our episode is like the little here's what currently is happening. Michael's watching now live. And it'll be cool too, because you'll see people and you'll be like, oh, here they are. Here's their first season. Here's like that for me. I saw All Stars before I saw Marquesas. And Marquesas is where Boston Rob is there first. So I saw him in All Stars and became a huge fan of him, and then saw Marquesas.
Yeah, I've heard a few names I have heard of when it comes to like Survivor Legends, like Boston Rob and his wife, and a guy I guess who's no longer on the show.
Have you not pieced together his wife is on Australian Outback?
Yeah,
that's Amber. That's that Amber.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, she looks familiar.
That is Boston Rob's future wife.
That is crazy.
Yeah. She doesn't stick out much. She does, but. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. Well, y'all, sorry to cut it a little bit shorter today, but we got through all 4 episodes. I'm gonna do a better job going back in my notes because I realized like all my shorthand. I'm like, who won immunity? Who did that? So that's on me. But Mike, let them know that they can find you. What you got going on?
MJ DePlessis on all social medias. Netflix and Raw every Monday as we watch. Me, Doug, and Michaela watch Monday Night Raw live. Queen's Court stuff should be happening soon, and I am feeling better, so I should be filming a second episode of Inner Circle with Wheels here very soon.
Cool. That first one was great, so I'm excited to see like what happens or what you do moving forward with more guests. So
yes,
yeah, Netflix and Raw, always a fun time. Live every Monday.
Yes.
DadHat Wrestling everywhere, all social medias. But hence why we do this show on the channel, because we all have interests in things other than pro wrestling, even though we love pro wrestling. You also can find World Championship Wreckage on all social medias. We are five subscribers away from hitting 300 here on this channel. So if you do us the pleasure, do us the honor, we would appreciate it. We love you so much. Hit that subscribe button, comment, do all the things, hit that little bell, get notifications when we're live, what we're doing, things get posted. But 5 away. 5's not a lot, so let's get there. I love you guys. For Mike DePlessis, I am DadHat, aka Justin. We'll see you next time for Survivor Reignited.